how do you create that opportunity? It's really following that kind of methodology where you take the action, you give yourself confidence, you give yourself the ability to do better at something, and then you're building your image, you're building your brand, and then you're networking with other people because you now have this brand image, and that is how opportunity is created.
Welcome to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association, providing benefits and services to real estate investors and rental property owners for over 48 years. With your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group.
This episode is sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com. Hello and welcome to episode 343. My guests today know quite a bit about creating opportunity in real estate. Chris and Ashton Levarek are brothers who started Valkere Investment Group to invest in multifamily real estate. Ashton is also a retired Air Force Special Warfare Pararescue jumper, a sniper, and combat diver. Both are strong believers in leveraging expertise and professional experience to ensure mission success. Today, they are going to share their formula for creating your own opportunity in real estate and the 6 steps you must take. Chris and Ashton, welcome to the show.
Thanks so much for having us, Brian. Appreciate it.
Yeah, good to be here.
You guys are brothers. How is it that you guys started investing in real estate, and how did you start doing it together?
Chris and I have always been really close, and I think I was finishing up with the military, getting close to retirement, and he had some stuff come up with his retirement fund, and he kind of kicked the idea to me. He wanted to start investing in real estate. And so we bought our first fourplex. We made it a goal to get our first fourplex under contract in, 2018, fall of 2018. And we were off to the races after that, learning and stumbling and learning again and building. There was a lot to it, but I mean, that's it in a nutshell.
Chris, is that how it was for you? I mean, is that your recollection as well?
Yeah. I mean, we've told the story quite a few times. Every time it gets a little less grandiose as we kind of cut out details and stuff like that. But yeah, it was just that really, it was coming up with the idea that we wanted to do something different than just living out of our retirement at the end of our working career. And so the real estate seemed to hold the best option for doing that, for building our own path, for building our own future. And we chose to do that through duplexes and initially a quad. And then we just partnered on every deal we did, and we built it up to what it is now, which is a full investment firm where we still do that, still partner, still buying deals. But it's been a fun experience to grow as a team, grow personally, and see where it went.
Where are you guys now? I mean, you're starting with duplexes and smaller multifamily. What has it grown to? Like, what's the size of your portfolio?
Almost 90 million assets under management at this point, something around there.
90 million in assets under management? Okay, so it's grown substantially. How many years did it take to get there?
Fall of 2018 to now, so 3.5 years.
What's your niche? Are larger apartments? I mean, what are you guys investing in?
Yep, larger apartments. We started with small duplexes and quads, but quickly scaled into syndications, did our first official syndication in 2020, 16 unit, and just partnering and networking and building out the systems and the processes since then. But that's allowed us to scale.
And where are you guys investing?
Wherever it makes sense, right? We live where we live, but we want to invest where it makes sense. And I'm a big picture guy, so I tend to talk about a lot of the big picture stuff. Chris can really niche down on the details of it, but we like markets that are exceeding the national average in, population growth, job growth, rent growth, those kind of things. So we look at the Carolinas are amazing right now. We have properties in North Carolina. We have stuff in Florida, Texas, Ohio, and now Arizona.
Chris, you're kind of the micro view guy. So let's talk about what you guys each bring to the team. What do you bring to the team, Chris?
So we're big on accountability. So we follow the Traction book model by Gino Wickman, which is, again, big on role and accountability. My role is really the overarching operations manager of the business. So because I'm more detail focused, I do manage a lot more of the people, the process or the system that we're going to do to execute some kind of whatever plan it is. So Ashton will often have ideas and I try to put more of the detail work into it. So if we're going to close a 90 unit apartment complex, who's needed? What phase are they needed in? What's the timeline? What are some issues that could come up? How can we alleviate that? All that kind of detail work. I do a lot of that. And then Ashton, if you want to speak to more of your role, you can.
I usually oversimplify everything. So I'll just say, if I'm all gas in the vehicle, Chris is the clutch. He helps us go to higher gears. He helps us accelerate faster, systematize all the processes, make it a lot easier to do what we want to do, right? So if I'm out there just making offers and building partnerships all the time, like, what does the infrastructure of the business look like? My brother's built out that whole infrastructure for our business, which has allowed us to scale at that level. So the easiest example would be, we were working with other partners, and one of the fastest ways to build credibility in a business is obviously to do deals. But then the second fastest is to have your name and your business on a website, have a website. And it's so simple, and people are going to outsource and find out. But Chris built the website. He built a CRM to properly work with both investors and managers, as well as the systems and the process to follow up with real estate agents, brokers, all that stuff. So, whereas I'm out there shaking hands and building relationships a lot of times, he's making sure the whole business is flowing successfully. Because if you have somebody that invests in your business, but you don't know how to do their taxes for their K-1 at the end of the year, like, good luck having a successful investment platform.
Ashton, it sounds like you are the front office, and Chris, you are the back office, the systems guy. And you talk about traction. Do you guys have like a company with employees? Who exactly are you managing?
We're about 8 people now. So it started with just me and Ashton, and then our wives came on board. And so my wife works a little more part-time now because we have a 5-month-old, but his wife is typically Vivian, Ashton's wife. She does the property management and construction renovation stuff. So whatever that entails on different projects, that could change, but she's managing property managers or construction teams. My wife does more of the legal and the finance side, so contracts, accounting, that kind of thing. But then we also have a marketing coordinator, and Olivia, helps out the sales team, Ashton and another guy, get new leads, new investor capital, new deals, those kind of things. And then we have a operations coordinator who helps my wife on the legal and finance side with all the operations of running the business. So, and then we have a new guy, Kevin, and he's helping with investor outreach now on the sales team. So we've grown a bit. We've had a couple of people leave and go, but it's all lets us as the leadership step into new roles and step into bigger positions where we can make a bigger impact. So that's why we grow that way. But some people are part-time, some people are full-time.
Ashton, you talked about being out there making offers and creating partnerships. What kind of partnerships are you talking about? Like, what sort of conversations are you having?
That's a great question, because I think a lot of times people think that there's people doing deals and then there's people that are investing in those deals. And that's not necessarily how it works. There's partners. It's all through partnerships. So these big deals, they're not done by one person alone. They're not done by 2 people alone. There's usually quite a few people. There's quite a few people on the general partnership side, and there's quite a few people on the limited partner side. The limited partners, those are people that are they want to invest in real estate. They want the tax benefits of real estate, the returns and everything of that market, that asset class. But they don't necessarily have the time or the resources to go do it on their own. So they're investing passively into deals that we put together. On the active side, the general partnership side, we have people that are finding the deals, underwriting the deals, making sure that they actually cash flow. It's going to be a profitable investment for us and our investors. You also have people that are putting together the legal structure, because this is all done in accordance with the Security Exchange Commission. So you have to adhere to that. There's all the legal side of that. You have people that are raising capital from limited partners. You have people that are managing the rehab of the property. There's quite a few moving parts into this. So again, it comes down to the limited partners and the general partnership. So that's kind of where I work a lot, is building those partnerships out, both on both sides of those.
Let's talk about creating opportunity. That's something that you guys are very good at, and you've kind of defined some steps that are necessary to create opportunity. Why don't you take us through those steps and kind of explain what they're about?
The first step is taking action. And this one, it seems a lot of times when you want to get into big deals and just stuff like that, taking action is very intimidating, but it could be as little as reading a book or reaching out to an investor group like us or researching how real estate is a good investment platform or investment strategy. But as soon as you take action on anything, even if you just went to the gym and just did, 100 push-ups, all of a sudden you have this confidence that you could take more action. I don't care what it is. It's just how it works. You take a little bit of action, and next thing you know, you feel you have that confidence, which is step 2, to be able to go out and do something else. Usually, it happens after taking action consistently, but take action. You build that confidence, and of course, you build that competence. So as you read more about real estate, and this is exactly how it happened for us too. We took action. We got ourselves a 90-day goal, and we acted on that. We said within 90 days, we're going to get a rental property. And we started, and that forced us to start taking even more action. And as you take more action, like I said, you build that confidence and you build that competence. And that as we learned, we grew, and then we were able to take more and more effective action. And Chris, I don't know if you want to weigh in on this, because this is where Christopher, my brother, took over a lot, was building the credibility. Because a lot of times when you take action, yes, you can turn around and say, I've done this, but you do need to provide that to everybody else if they want to partner with you, if they want to invest with you. So maybe, Chris, you want to expand on the credibility piece?
When we started, we get the question a lot like, well, why would anyone want to partner with you when you start? What do you know? And a big piece of it is the credibility. So if you don't have the credibility, find someone who does. And when we partnered initially, this is before we had anything, no website, no brand, no logo. We partnered with a lawyer. We partnered with an attorney who created documentation that gave us the credibility for someone to partner with us, because a lawyer often has a lot of credibility. That's why they go to school. So that's a big part of partnership, is finding the credibility if you don't have it, or building the credibility in the long run, which can take longer, it can take 2 to 3 years, for your brand to take off. But a big part of building that is the website. It's having some kind of platform, your LinkedIn platform, your profile, your online image. What do people see when they type in your name into a search engine? And that's a big part of partnerships, is having credibility. So if you don't have it, lean on others that do have it, and then slowly build your own. And that's been successful for us. And we go into that, once you have credibility, once you have brand, networking becomes easier, because you start to define yourself according to that brand and credibility, and people start to see you as that. So networking to achieve something starts to become easier and easier, because people associate now with your brand with a certain type of product, a certain type of feeling, a certain type of relationship. And that networking can then help out whatever you're trying to achieve. And that in itself, leads to the last thing, if you want to talk about just where this all starts, which is how do you create that opportunity? It's really following that kind of methodology where you take the action, you give yourself confidence, you give yourself the ability to do better at something, and then you're building your image, you're building your brand, and then you're networking with other people because you now have this brand image, and that is how opportunity is created. You may not even know what you're creating when you start at the first step, but the opportunity by the time you get to the end is created because people see something in you. You now have more confidence because you took the action. And so it all kind of like piles up on itself to create opportunity.
I'd like to take a moment to tell you about Green Property Management. Not only do they manage everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area, they also manage my entire portfolio. So I can tell you from personal experience that their unique flat fee management style is worth a closer look. If you feel that your property isn't operating to its fullest potential, then Green Property Management can help you take a holistic approach that will save you money, eliminate your headaches, and increase your net income. And if you're a property manager interested in applying Green Property Management's model, give them a call at 1-866-95-GREEN or visit them on the web at greenpropertymgt.com. If you're thinking of leaving your W-2 job and becoming a full-time real estate investor, one of the greatest costs you must consider is healthcare for you and your family. When I made this transition myself, I found the whole healthcare insurance process to be confusing and frustrating. That's why I'm glad I met Chad Creasy at RCB and Associates. Chad is a professional health insurance agent who helps real estate investors and small business owners understand and choose their best healthcare options. And best of all, his services are covered by the insurance company and won't cost you a dime. If you live in Michigan and are expecting a change in your healthcare insurance coverage for any reason, or losing employer coverage or transitioning into Medicare, then you owe it to yourself to contact Chad Creasy at rcbassociatesllc.com. What is your brand then? When people think of Chris and Ashton and Valkere, what is the brand and what is the feeling they get from that?
We make real estate investing simple. We're two veterans, family-oriented veterans that keep investing simple, and we want to make an impact on the world. So, and how we do that is every deal we do, we give a portion of the profits back to a couple of nonprofits, one of which is veteran nonprofit, and the other one fights human slavery or human slavery. So,
Chris, you're a veteran as well?
Yes, I did 4 years in the Air Force as well as a firefighter.
Thank you, both of you, for your service to our country. And it's always interesting when I talk to military veterans, they're always the ones who use traction and have systems in place. Why is that?
It's part of the structure that when you step out of a very structurized machine, which is the military, you have to start to develop your own structure or framework. And I think a lot of people use books and kind of establish structures that have the backing to give them the confidence to do that. And books are great for that.
You know, when you come out of the military, you get used to thinking like that. Like, what can I leverage to go faster, further, right? Do I need to go rebuild the wheel, or is there somebody out there that's already done this? Because like Chris said, there's all that stuff's in the military already. They have those systems inherent with the structure in the military. And I think people that want to build something fast, instead of trying to rebuild the wheel on their own, on the fly, like using some type of business coaching or system that has already been kind of explained, like in the book Traction, it's a lot more effective. I mean, that's just my personal opinion. I don't know.
How would you say that your military training and that thought process has both helped you in real estate and possibly also hindered you in real estate?
I think it's helped us because, the whole action piece in the military, you're forced to take action and it builds your confidence. Oh, like, okay, if I want to be a pararescue jumper, I got to jump out of a plane. I never thought about that before, but now I'm jumping out of a plane at night by myself with 100 pounds of equipment on. And I'm not going to back down because that is what I'm training to do. And that's what I want to do. And so now I've forced myself to take action by putting myself in that place. It's built that confidence. And so now you have that confidence that you can go and do and be and have anything you want. But on the flip side, and I just had a conversation with somebody about this too, is as a military member coming out, you're used to all those systems and structures and processes in place. And when you get out, you're like, okay, how do I edit a video? In the military, I had a guy do that for me, right? So like now you have to figure stuff out, like, and how do I hire somebody, right? Like, how does that work? I don't know, Christopher, what do you think?
Yeah, I think it helps because nothing is too crappy a situation. So in the military, you deal with a lot of crap situations, excuse my language. And often you don't have a choice. You just have to go do it. You're hot, you're sweaty, you're in chem gear, you're doing some kind of training. It's uncomfortable. Well, guess what? Too bad. You got to do it. There's no other way around it. And I think that really sets up military folks for success running a business or being an entrepreneur, because there are a lot of situations you just can't get out of. And a lot of times civilians will give up because they think that is their out. Whereas military, usually there is no out. You're getting shot at, you either duck or you fire back. You can't run away. So that helps. What hinders, I think, though, is you have to work with civilians. And a lot of times military don't understand how to communicate effectively, possibly how to train. It's a big, big one, in my opinion, because the training is always provided in the military. It's always provided by someone else. So why would you learn how to train someone? Someone's always providing the training or giving you the booklet how to do it. So if you're running your business or if you have a couple civilians, sometimes you have to learn how to communicate in also a non-aggressive manner. Sometimes military communication can be very brute and aggressive almost. And some civilians won't respond well to that. So if you're trying to grow a business, that's the part I think that gets a little hard, is the communication with the civilian side.
It's amazing. You've got 90 million in assets under management. You've built systems and processes to get to where you are now. What is the next level for you? Where are you going next, and how are you going to get there?
We review this every 90 days, and this is part of the whole traction model. But like every 90 days, we review our goals, see if we're on track for our 1 year, 3 year, 10-year goal. But essentially for us, it started with building passive income so that we could live the lives that we want to live, right? We can spend time with our family, so we can travel, so we can enjoy the hobbies that we have. Because at the end of the day, that's what it's about, creating a meaningful life, living a meaningful life. And if we can do that, and alongside of other investors that want to do that as well, then absolutely, let's do that. And let's also give back along the way. And so where are we going next? We're going to be doing much of the same. We're looking at mobile home parks. We're looking at self-storage units. And that's merely because, cap rates are compressing in the multifamily space. It's getting more and more competitive as more and more people enter the space because they're realizing how good the returns are in multifamily. But essentially, it's the same. We're focused on creating passive income, generational wealth, and giving back to those in need.
Chris, how do you know when you've achieved that? When you've achieved the generational wealth, that passive income, is there a goal that once you reach it, you guys can just retire?
I think we have our own metrics of what that is. Originally when we started, it was $10,000 passive income per family. So myself, 10,000, and my brother, 10,000. That was kind of our goal. And it's interesting, as you build a business and as you start having fun with it, that kind of becomes almost secondary goal, to be honest. It's almost like now it's about having fun with it. And so we do short-term rentals on the side. Actually, we're on our third one now with a few equity partners. And those are fun because we get to go visit locations for a business expense and, stay and have fun with the company and with the team. And so part of it now is having fun in the business while we are growing it. Is the number still on our goal sheet? It is, but I don't think retirement's in the books. It's more, okay, well, when we get to that point, what's the next fun thing? And that's kind of what it's become at this point, is what's the next fun thing? We started doing short-term rentals because, apartments are interesting and they're good, but you do enough of them, you also want, okay, what's the next fun thing? And so we started short-term rentals as well on the side. And that's why we're looking at mobile homes. Like, how do we keep this going and shifting with the tides and stuff? So, but yeah, we have our numbers. We have our whatever mathematical numbers that you're trying to hit. I do think that financial freedom number gets thrown out a lot. And especially when people are starting, they want to hit that financial freedom number. It's when you do this long enough. I mean, we've only done it 4 years. The number becomes kind of in the background and you start to have fun with it. And that's what life's about anyway. So hopefully you enjoy the process and not just the destination.
Fun is definitely an important part. And I can't think of more fun business to be in than real estate investing. It's interesting. You started at $10,000 a month per family, because that's where most people will say, yeah, to be financially free, I need $10,000. That $10,000 mark per month is kind of the magic number. But I found the same thing. As you get deeper and deeper into real estate, it's sort of like that falls away and you can just focus on other things, like where do your passions lie? It sounds like you are now looking at other asset classes and trying to decide, well, where to go next. Are you doing all of those already? You said self-storage and mobile home parks. And then, of course, the vacation rentals you're doing. Are you doing those already or just looking into getting into those?
We are working on partnerships with another mobile home operator that's been doing this now for the last 4 years as well. So doing it, absolutely. I mean, that's what I consider doing it. We are putting the whole investment opportunity together, and he's negotiating on the deals right now. And so we'll see. Nothing's set in stone, obviously.
You mentioned working with a mobile home park operator. How important is it when you're moving into a new asset class, such as mobile home parks, that you find that person who has the credibility and track record already in that area, as opposed to just figuring out how to do it yourself?
Well, that's huge. And I'll say this quote. I say this all the time, and Chris will probably roll his eyes silently at me, but go fast alone or go far together, right? Do you want to do it? Do you actually want to win? And if your goal is to learn it, then absolutely go do it and learn it and own the process and own every mistake and then own every success. And the returns are probably bigger, but the risk is bigger too. So we're a huge proponent of partnering with people that have done it before, partnering with them or leveraging them in some way, whether through coaching or through partnerships. So it is very important in our eyes. We don't come out here to play to learn. We play to win. And that's what it's about for us anyway. Like, we're not messing about. This is other people's money, for one. I mean, these are other people that believe in us and they believe in our process. And I'm not going to bring some amateur to the table, and speaking of us, and to take over a massive investment like a mobile home park if we've never done one before. So it's huge for us. Credibility is huge. Experience is huge.
Chris, when it comes to creating opportunity, what's your number one recommendation to our audience to create their own opportunity to get into real estate investing?
Yeah, understand your strength. Don't try to do it all yourself is the number one lesson I learned throughout this whole thing. So I'd say that's the biggest one for me is if you're trying to find opportunity, if you're trying to create an opportunity, understand your strength and bring that to the table. Don't try to bring everything to the table and just fill one person's, one role or something like that. There's a lot of players in this game, and knowing what you're good at allows you to find opportunity. The rest comes with time. You'll learn things over time and decide even where maybe you want to shift into, but learn what you're good at, and then opportunity will find you.
Ashton, you are the guy out there shaking hands, making partnerships. What's your number one tip when you're first meeting somebody who could be a potential partner or investor? What's your number one tip there?
I'm going to piggyback on what Chris said, actually. So, and it also Sun Tzu I'm a big quote guy. I like quotes, but Sun Tzu said it too, right? Know yourself and you can defeat any enemy. But the point is, like, you do have to know your strengths, know your weaknesses, but be brutally honest with who you're working with, right? If you've never done a deal, you've never done a deal. Don't try and fake it. If you have only done multifamily properties, I mean, when I'm talking to somebody that's doing, millions in mobile home parks, I'm not going to tell them that I have experience in that. Well, even if I have whatever number on assets under management, that is totally irrelevant to him. I do know how to talk to investors. I do know how to structure a deal to make sure it's profitable, but like, I'm going to tell them as what we bring to the table. This is what we bring to the table. This is what I would like to do. I think people connect with you when you're authentic, and I find, and I'm going to say this out loud, I find that a lot of times people are inauthentic because they're trying to be something they're not, because they think that's what people want to hear. And a lot of relationships are ruined because of that. And a lot of deals probably go under because of that. There's not enough communication and not enough authenticity. Yeah, be brutally honest. Connect with people. Do deals that are along the same lines with you as far as values and morals and are going in the same path. But they bring something to the table that you don't. They feel a weakness that you have and you feel a weakness that they have. So essentially, yeah, know yourself and be authentic.
And how would people find out more about both of you and or get a hold of you?
You could go to our website. We have everything on the website. I mean, over 250 blog posts and podcasts all listed there. So it's valkeregroup.com, VALKERE group.com. And yeah, we're on there. You can read about us. You can check out opportunities we've done and reach out. So that's the best way.
Chris, Ashton, it's been a real pleasure talking with both of you. Thank you for going over the ways to create opportunity in real estate and sharing a little bit about your backgrounds and your investing processes. It's been a real pleasure talking with both of you.
Absolutely.
Thanks, Brian. Appreciate it.
I want to thank everybody for listening to this episode. I'm your host, Brian Hamrick from Hamrick Investment Group, and you can find out more about me by going to higinvestor.com. That's higinvestor.com. And you can also ask questions and join us on Facebook by going to RPOA, Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast. This episode was sponsored by Green Property Management, managing everything from single-family homes to apartment complexes in the West Michigan area. Find out more at greenpropertymgt.com. And RCB and Associates, helping real estate investors and small business owners navigate the complex world of health insurance and Medicare benefits at rcbassociatesllc.com.
You've been listening to the Rental Property Owner and Real Estate Investor Podcast, brought to you by the Rental Property Owner Association. You can find out more at rpoaonline.org. If you enjoyed this podcast, please go to iTunes to subscribe, rate, and review.